support freedom, and even those who like the ideas of Ron Paul but chose to stay out of the political process, we're witnessing the collapse of the Republican Party by their own doing. And we can speculate on whether they're doing this on purpose or not to push us towards a bigger plan. But what I'm seeing is that we have people out here on the ground, people who already know the political system's messed up, and others though who are finally saying, you know what is the point if they're just going to change the rules? And that's where we want to step in as activists and as community builders and say, like, this is important. These things are happening, but show them a way, an alternative that we can do this, that our communities can start building and start working together rather than focusing on electoral politics or the presidency to save us. Because I think that if anything, as far as elections are going to matter, it's going to be on the local level. So we're going to work harder back in Houston to put people in positions that represent freedom, and also working on building alternatives to the system itself.
Sure.
Certainly, I think alternatives to the system are the strongest things we can do economically, personally, education-wise. In addition to that, I do think more and more people are growing to see the similarities between the two-party system, or between the two parties, and recognize that you got to choose principle over party, that there's good people in both parties, and then there's good people that aren't in either party. The other thing I'd say is anytime we bother to get up off the couch and act, something happens. We meet new friends, we find another way to work, someone gives us a tool that we can use in our work, new people come along that help it to work better. And I just like anyone that's frustrated with anything out there that wants to work for a better day to realize that part of it, that when you do something, things happen.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, guys. Keep us posted on any new developments. But, of course, you could find the Houston Freethinkers at their website, HoustonFreethinkers.com. They're doing a lot of good work in a lot of different areas with all kinds of different issues. So it's a good place to stay in touch with. Thanks for joining us, and we'll speak to you in the future. And Derek Bros and the other guys in Houston have also been doing work at fluoridefreehouston.org. I wanted to let you know about that website as well. We'll be back after this with an interview from street artist Mir One. Stay tuned.
Alex Jones here with a message that could revolutionize health in this country. Going back about a year and a half ago, I began to learn about the incredible health effects of longevity products. Aaron Dykes lost 92 pounds. We're going to show you some before and afters. Aaron, break down what happened, your story.
I've worked really hard with diet and exercise to try to lose weight, but I just didn't get the results. It just didn't happen. Then I saw what you were doing with InfoWarsTeam.com. I wasn't even trying to lose weight, but I got it because I wanted to feel better energy. I wanted that nutrition. Didn't even understand how that could kickstart my own weight loss goals, but the products did that for me. I found myself suddenly losing weight, more energetic, wanting to exercise, wanting to eat the right foods.
And they don't even advertise it as weight loss. I want to challenge our radio listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com. Sign up as a distributor and get wholesale pricing discounts at InfoWarsTeam.com. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at InfoWars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at InfoWars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at INFOWARSshop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the life straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Scalzo. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure, and it's available discounted at InfoWars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. InfoWars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at InfoWars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
We are back on the InfoWars Nightly News, and we're joined now by Kalen Ackerman, better known by his street artist moniker, Mir One. He's been a graffiti artist since at least 1986 and has been known by names including the Michelangelo of graffiti. He has his pulse on the culture, and as you're going to see from a lot of his artwork, he's politically awake as well. We're going to hear from him what he thinks about a lot of current events and where art and culture and our entire society is headed. Joining us now is Mir One. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. What's up?
Well, first of all, what is your take? We have an election coming up. Society is in many ways turned against the establishment. There's a lot of alternative news information, a lot of alternative culture that has taken root through the internet, through the streets. Give us your overall breakdown on where we are at this point in time.
I guess I'm highly frustrated and upset with the whole system of, puppeting choices. I feel like voting at this point, other than just holding on to our rights to vote, is useless. I would hate to see that right taken away, but the options we're given with the ability to vote, we're just placating ourselves. It's really it's a broken system, and I feel like whoever you put in charge, whoever you replace the last idiot with, it's just more idiots trying to represent idiocy, and it's a broken system. We need to fix the system before we worry about the representative.
Right, and so, but I'm interested in fixing the system through our alternative systems and spreading a message in a new way, and that's what we're dealing with, the technology. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Tell us about how you woke up, how you got involved in art, and some of the major projects you've been involved in.
Well, I guess as far as art goes, my mother was an artist. I was raised by her from, single parent upbringing in Los Angeles here, and so I was highly influenced by her. And we both, I had a lot of political discourse in my little family, once a week talking about the news, talking about economy and stuff like that, and watch my mom and uncle and grandmother get into bickering fights over this stuff, get very passionate over it. And it's been part of my dialogue since a little kid. And around 1979 or 78, I took a trip up to Oregon, and a friend of my mother's gave us a cassette tape that had a lecture on the future of our planet with global warming and the illusion of democracy crumbling apart, and kind of this really frightening view of the future of war and economic slavery and, you know, polluted realities. And so I guess back then this was highly fascinating to me, and it's been a source of my dreams, a source of my inspiration. A lot of the anger I feel about society and government and authority figures in general, which has been expressed in me being a graffiti artist for decades now. This has been a big source of energy for me to pull from so that I can express myself, you know. The world seems pretty confusing, and there's not many places you can go to release these emotions or these ideas, and so artwork has been a great facilitator of that for me.
Right, and we're specifically showing viewers right now video of your allegory of complacency. Among other elements, it includes a big pyramid with an all-seeing eye, a very familiar theme to our listeners. But what inspired you to this and some of your other major works? And just give your point of view on that.
Yeah, I guess traveling around the world and looking at money has always been really interesting to me. And the most interesting piece of money in the world to me still to this day is the $1 bill from the United States. It's a very frightening type of noir, strange, dark, mysterious piece of paper. I never really understood it as a child, and I was always fascinated in understanding the iconography, especially on the back side with the Great Seal and some of the symbology that's embedded into the number systems that are represented in the eagle, or, you know, the all-seeing eye, the Great Seal. These are powerful mythological iconographies, and I've been really interested in understanding what do they mean, how they have an effect on us. And what is mythology? You know, what are, you know, like religion and many things. Why do these ideas that we can't fully interpret have so much power over us? So I've been deep into research, I'd say, for a good 2 decades. Fascinated. You know, I started out with Behold the Pale Horse when I was in high school, and that kind of really got me into digging deeper. You know, what do they call it? Data mining online and whatnot, and researching as much info as I can. And you know, what I've come to terms with is this idea of this pyramid. You know, the separate eye that floats above the lower base is really a metaphor for the elite power and the working class that this world consists of.
So, Mirwan, you were explaining some of the symbolism in your painting. Of course, we see an all-seeing eye with the masses of humanity at the base, and you were explaining how this represents an older allegory for you.
Yeah. I guess years ago I read this poem by Plato, a 2,500-year-old poem of the Greek philosopher called The Allegory of the Cave. And it inspired me greatly because it made me realize that we Americans are falling short to the same problems that people have been falling victim to for thousands of years on this planet. And it's basically wool being pulled over our eyes. And the poem was about a group of slaves that were captive in a cave. And they sat on a log chained to each other, and they stared at this wall. And behind them is a blazing fire, and their captors used hand signals to create puppeting type of animal shadows on the wall. And these prisoners believed that this is what reality was. And one day when the captors were away, one of the prisoners stood up, took his chains off, and walked to the end of the cave to where the light was coming in. He peeked his head out and realized that there's a beautiful world of trees and fresh air and rivers and valleys and mountains and other humans. And he ran back out of amazement to tell his people that there's another reality actually taking place, and this is not it. And out of fear, they told him to be quiet and put his cuffs back on before they got in deeper trouble. And it just, it reminds me of the way we allow the nightly news